Hello friends, are you looking for the perfect kitchen trash solution? In a bind whether to keep it outside and lose precious kitchen space or put it under the sink and struggle for access? A pull-out trash can might be the right solution for you, and I will show you how we installed it in our home. We went with Rev-a-Shelf because their website makes it easy to choose the product I want. You just go to their website, pick waste containers, and that gives you a lot of choices depending on your taste and budget. We chose the wire mount waste container, which is one of their least expensive ones and also one of the most popular ones on Amazon. As you can see on the left side of this page, there are different measurements provided that you should compare with the actual measurements of your cabinet. There are also some filters that you can use to narrow down your choice. We picked the 35 quart single trash can model for its orientation and height. The installation steps for the dual 27 quart, which sits sideways, and the 50 quart variant, which is taller than our cabinet, are basically similar. This is the main slide that comes pre-assembled. If you plan to simply install it inside your cabinet without attaching it to the door, that's fairly straightforward. Just place it on the base of your cabinet, make sure the door closes properly, that the slide is square with the cabinet, and that the trash can comes out sufficiently when extended. At that point, drill 4 screws to secure the slide to the floor and you're done. However, if you plan to mount it to the door like I did, you might want to keep watching. Although the instructions tell you to first screw the whole setup to the bottom of your cabinet in the center and then attach the door mount, I decided to first make sure that the door mount aligns with the door before I screwed the whole setup to the bottom of my cabinet, because I knew once I do that, I wouldn't have a lot of flexibility. You would need to purchase the door mount kit separately, and it costs about $25 to $30. The brackets in the kit are attached to these holes in the main slide using these flathead screws and nuts. Once they were attached, I put in the bolts, washers and spacers without tightening them all the way. Then I slotted in the door brackets. You should tighten the bolts just enough so that the door brackets can slide up and down a little bit, but not so much from side to side. Now, a word about the spacing between the door brackets. You need to make sure that the door bracket is aligned with and attaches to the thicker part of the cabinet door. There were 3 things I needed to keep in mind when determining the space between the door brackets. First, the gap between the L brackets after you have installed them is 9.1 inches. Second, each spacer adds 3/8 of an inch. I used 2 on each side, so a total of 1.5 inches. Then the door bracket is about 1.25 inch from the L bracket end to the center of the furthest screw, so a total of 2.5 inches. Taken all together, now the further screw holes on the door brackets were 13.1 inches apart. That was just enough for my needs. Mind you, the door mount kit only comes with 4 spacers. So if you need to do what I did, you would need to buy 4 extra spacers and longer bolts. On the other hand, if even 9.1 inches is too wide for your door, then you can also install the door brackets facing inwards. Now, Rev-a-Shelf sells a few soft close versions of these pull-out trashes, and you might want to know what's different. As you can see, the standard version comes out very smoothly and goes back without slamming, even though it does not have the soft close. The soft close version, on the other hand, has an initial catch. So I didn't see any notable advantage of the soft close version over the standard, which was also less than half in cost. Anyway, next I took out the door and dry fitted it to the door bracket. As you can see, the gap between the door brackets is enough for the outer screws to go into the thick portion. I reconnected the door to the hinge and put everything together inside the cabinet. I put double-sided tape to the front of the door bracket and with the door closed, made sure the brackets are aligned properly so that the screw holes are lined up with the thick portion. Then I pressed down on the double-sided tape to keep the setup from moving accidentally. I also secured the setup to the base of the cabinet using shipping tape. Now I secured the door bracket to the door using wood screws and the slide to the base of the cabinet using the truss head screws, and my basic setup was complete. At this point I simply disconnected the door hinges and now the slide could come out. The only thing left was to put in the rear basket, and you remove these screws to put it in. After the rear basket was screwed in, the pull-out trash was ready for use. I had separately purchased the lid that goes with the trash can to make sure that my cabinet doesn't stink up. I made a contraption out of steel wires and duct tape to automatically open the lid when the trash can is pulled out. So that was it. If this was helpful, please consider subscribing and leaving a comment sharing your experience. Thank you.